Hey there. I'm taking a break. Oh, hi Murph. Yeah, we're gonna do some sewing. Okay. Can you sit for me? Good job. Yes. Hey, I'm taking a break from my spinning to do a hopefully quick project for my older daughter. So I started already without you because I wasn't actually planning on filming this. Older daughter has gotten really interested, inspired by like Harajuku, like Japanese street fashion, particularly kind of the Decora style. And so she's been kind of wanting to try adding some pieces to her wardrobe. So she asked for some, I guess you'd call them leg warmers. So I whipped up one to see if that would work. And I didn't film it because I wasn't really planning to. And then I thought, oh, it might be fun to share with people. So you will not see my mistakes that I had to undo and redo. But yeah, so it's gonna be like a leg warmer, but it's out of these quilt squares. They're like cotton flannel that my mom had given me, and I bet you that they're probably from fabric from when my older siblings were kids. So it's probably like 70s, maybe the late 60s. I don't know exactly when she made all these. Hey mom, write in the comments if you remember. When did you make these quilt squares? She had given me them, I don't know, back 5 or 10 years ago. And they've just been sitting in my sewing stash because my mom's a quilt maker. I'm not really a quilt maker. So along comes my daughter. She got the idea like, oh, these are so cute. Yes, so here is, we're doing kind of like a ruffle leg warmer. So I need to add elastic to the top here so it'll fit around and then kind of be a lacy, obviously more, well, decorative leg warmer. So this is what we're gonna do. What I did, I started with measuring daughter's leg circumference, kind of just below her knee, and also the distance from the bottom of her knee to like the top of her ankle. Okay, we wanted it to be about 12 inches this way. So let's see, what to do. Yeah, because these are basically 8x8 quilt blocks. Then I figured by the time we have hems, on the one I already made, it worked out to be about 12 inches. So we did 3 on the top so that it can gather in to give a little bit of a ruffly look on top. And then we're going to do, okay, my failed attempt was like, oh, we could do a flare by making 3 and then adding a triangle to the side. Forgetting that I was going to fold it in half and then it would just have a weird flare part on the side, on one side and nothing on this side. So after I did that and realized that was not going to work, I was like, oh, we're just going to make a wider tier, so like 5 squares, and then we'll just gather this bottom one, and that will give flare on the bottom part as well. So we're going to make basically a tiered ruffle leg warmer instead of a tiered ruffly skirt. A tiered ruffle leg warmer. Yes. Daughter picked out these 6, but I'm going to have to add 2 more. Let's see what our layout should be. Race car fabric and cowboys, probably not her thing. I wonder if my brothers are watching this. Do you remember this fabric, brothers? What elements do we have in this one? Oh, we had these little teddy bears. I don't think there's any more of the teddy bears though. But she did like in this one, oh, I think she mostly liked the strawberries. But we do have some of those little snowmen. Oh, and there's another strawberry snowman. But we probably don't want 2 snowmen next to each other. Decisions. Now, part of my brain is like, ooh, I want like some symmetry in this, but from the little that I've read up / watched, investigated Decora fashion, I don't think it's really about symmetry. It's just about everything all kind of thrown together. So I guess it probably doesn't really matter. And daughter's not here to offer her advice. But it bugs me that there's 2 with the same pattern in a row. But I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably just have to let it go, eh? Let's see if I do that, then that's the same day. I guess we'll just go for it. What the heck? I didn't think about it too much on the first one, so let's not overthink it this time. Obviously, these quilt squares were made with more like a quarter inch seam allowance. And I am just, I don't know, doing probably closer to a half a inch, just the width of my presser foot. Because I'm not trying to be super precise on getting it all to line up to exactly into a square. Anyways, I'm not being super precise. You know, it's going to be all ruffly and you won't see it all exactly in the same way that you would if you were looking at a quilt. And you know, I mostly do garment sewing, so I ended up kind of defaulting to like a ½ inch, 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, kind of automatically. Time to press this tier and the top tier to the ironing board. Shall we press you open or push you to the side? Time to iron, time to iron, time to iron, time to iron. And I sing a little song to myself, 'cause that's what I always do. Nobody saw that seam that was sewn badly. Steamy steam, steamy steam, steam. So we need to trim this so it'll be easier, so that it'll be easier to hem. I could get out my rotary mat and cut it that way, but on the chance that Murph decides to come jump on me, I don't want to like slip and slicey the wrong thing. I'm just gonna mark it with chalk and trim it with my scissors. Chalky chalk, 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 chalky chalk, chalk, chalk. Trimmy, trim, trim. Okie dokie. I think I'm gonna hem the top and the bottom first before I gather and sew them together, because it'll be easier to do those separately. Okay, iron time. And I'm just kind of eyeball it. Can't be bothered to make it more precise. Woo, big cloud of steam. Okie dokie. Now back to the sewing machine. Time to sew the hems. Okay, so now we're adding pink lace to the top and the bottom. I'm gonna pin the lace on so I don't mess it up. Just kind of lining it up so that it's, so the bottom of the lace comes kind of to the bottom of the hem of the quilt blocky thingy. And that's what I did on the other one. Pin down, pin on the floor. Dinger, dinger. But I don't see where it went. Pin, where are you? Ah, there you are. Okay. Okie dokie, time to sew you on. Now I realize I need to take this back to the ironing board so I can iron in the case, the elastic casing. Which means I need to look at my other one to remember size, measure, what I did on the other one. So my elastic is 1 inch elastic. So let's see, what did I do? I did it, okay, about just under, what is that, 1 3/8-ish? 1 3/8, 1.5. So I've got that ironed in then, the fold, and I'm gonna sew. I'm gonna sew the lace just below that. Let's see, is this second bit of lace? Oh, it's long enough, hooray! Now, we need to gather the bottom tier to get it onto the top tier. So, what I'm going to do is turn my stitch size up as high as I go, and then I get the machine to do some of the work for me. So I turn my, let's see, yesterday with this guy, I did it all the way up to 9, which is the highest the tension goes, but that made it a little too small, so maybe we'll just do 8. We'll see how that works. And the machine does a bunch of the gathering. And it takes less time. I was very excited when I learned that trick. Oops. And let's, okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, I know what I'm doing. Or, you know, remember what I'm doing? Remember what I made up yesterday? Yes, maybe. Let's see how we did. I'm gonna set my settings all back to normal before I forget that I changed them, and then go to sew the next thing and it gets all messy and munchy. Yeah, which I have done in the past, so better do it while I'm thinking about it. Okay, it's still slightly smaller, so we'll kind of loosen some of those gathers up. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Then I'll just kind of pin this on. And I'm not going to be super precise about evening out my gathers because I'm just not. Usually, most of the time when I'm sewing, I'm a little more precise about my gathers and try to gather, you know, spread them out more evenly. Just being kind of loosey-goosey with this project. And we're just going to sew these together. Woohoo! Sewy time. Okie dokie, back to the ironing board. Let's go. I'm just gonna press this up toward the top. It'll lay flatter than trying to press it down over the gathered. I don't know, it's the same way I would press if I was doing like a gathered skirt and press the seam up toward the top. Hey, steam hot. And kind of crush some of the gathers. Oh well, whoops. Okay, and there we go. Okay. Now time to add on some more lace in the middle. There are some gathering stitches showing below the hemline. Normally I would pick those out, but we're adding lace over the top, so we don't need to do that. Yay, to save some work. Let's see, what did I do? I sewed this on, okay, right at this line, right on the hemline. Okay, that's what we're doing. Let's see. Lace. How much do we need? And that means we need some pins. lace is on. Hooray! Which means now, sew up the side seam. Woohoo! Sew up the side seam. I mean, honestly, it probably would look a little nicer if I would have waited to sew the lace on until after I sewed it, but I was being lazy and wanted to sew the lace in flat. So it has a seam, but meh. I mean, if I was adding lace to a skirt, I'd wait to add the lace until after the side seams, all the seams are sewed up. But, you know, I didn't do that this time, hee hee. Oh, just like technically it's probably nicer or better, nicer if you wait to do the seams, the hems until it's all sewn together. I suppose that's probably a bit more technically nicer way of finishing. I suppose the second to last thing we need to do is sew the elastic casing. So we'll do that and then we'll have to wait to add in the elastic until older daughter is home. Oh, and I guess here's where it would be better if I would have waited to add the lace, because then I wouldn't have to worry about catching it while sewing this in. Whoopsie poopsies. Oh well, we need to leave an opening for the elastic anyways. That's an elastic casing made, so then I shall sew the elastic casing in the other one. And then I'm going to wait till daughter gets home from school so I can measure her leg again, because I can't remember exactly how long I need the elastic to be. So we shall finish that up later. Okay, I'm going to try this and see if I got this measured right. Success?
Yeah. Just a little bit tight because, you know, these pants are baggy. I'm as graceful as a baby deer.